Have you ever imagined a demon so ancient, so battle-hardened, that he made even the mightiest beings in his world fear him, before he even had a name? Today we're talking about one of the most debated characters in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Diablo. The question that keeps fans arguing is this: did Diablo actually have a real shot at defeating some demon lords, even before Rimuru gave him a name? In this video, we're going deep into Diablo's true power, his origins as a primordial demon, his fighting style, and we'll compare him to the other demon lords to finally get a complete, detailed answer. Stick around until the end, because this analysis is going to take you deep into one of the most mysterious and powerful characters in this entire world. Before we talk about his power, we need to understand who Diablo actually is. Diablo isn't just some ordinary demon. He's one of the primordial demons, the oldest and most dangerous class of demons that exist in this world. These are beings that were essentially born alongside the world itself, having lived for thousands of years and witnessed countless wars and conflicts. The primordials aren't just powerful creatures. They're beings who've accumulated an insane amount of combat experience over millennia, and that alone sets them apart from any other demon, no matter how strong their raw power might be. Diablo specifically was already well known even before joining Rimuru, and he was feared and respected by other demons. No one dared to underestimate him, and that alone tells you a lot about his real standing among demons. And here's the important part. Diablo wasn't constantly chasing power-ups or evolution, because he was completely confident in his own abilities. That confidence wasn't empty arrogance. It came from a genuine understanding of just how powerful and experienced he truly was. Now let's dig into the actual details of his power. The first key point is that Diablo never relied on raw power alone. Yes, as a primordial demon, he has an enormous amount of magical energy, but what really sets him apart are the other elements that make him such a dangerous opponent. First, exceptional intelligence. Diablo isn't just a fighter who relies on brute force. He's a brilliant strategist, capable of reading a situation instantly and analyzing his opponent's weaknesses in seconds. Second, rapid enemy analysis. In any battle, the ability to understand your opponent's fighting style and adapt in real time is one of the most important factors for victory, and Diablo possesses this skill at an exceptional level. Third, his mastery of magic and combat techniques. Thousands of years of experience have made him a master of diverse fighting styles that combine magic, physical power, and tactics, giving him tremendous flexibility in any confrontation. This combination, raw power, intelligence, and combat experience, is exactly what gives Diablo a real edge, even against opponents whose base energy might be higher than his own. Power alone doesn't decide a fight, especially against someone with Diablo's intellect and experience. A lot of battles aren't won by whoever has the bigger energy pool. They're won by whoever knows how to use their power the smartest. Now here's the most important part of this discussion. Does this mean Diablo could have defeated every single demon lord? Honestly, no. Because the world of demon lords isn't evenly matched. There are massive gaps in power between one demon lord and another, and some of them exist on a completely different level of strength that's nearly impossible to overcome. For example, characters like Guy Crimson and Milim Nava are considered among the strongest beings in the entire world. These two aren't your average demon lords. They represent a legendary tier of power, one that surpasses even most other demon lords combined. Against opponents like these, even with all of Diablo's intelligence and experience, the raw power gap is simply too massive to talk about a realistic chance of victory at that early stage, before he received his name. But things look completely different when we talk about demon lords who sit below that legendary tier. Against those opponents, the idea of Diablo winning becomes very plausible. If he gets the chance to exploit his opponent's weaknesses or drag the fight into a long, drawn-out battle, that's exactly where his massive experience becomes the deciding factor. A long battle means attrition for the enemy, and it means repeated opportunities for Diablo to use his intelligence to find openings, and that's precisely what makes him so dangerous, even against opponents stronger than him in raw energy. Raw power might win a quick fight, but in a long, complex battle, intelligence and experience are usually what decide the outcome. Now let's talk about a pivotal point in this discussion. What happened after Rimuru gave Diablo his name? After the naming, Diablo's abilities skyrocketed to the point where he could easily surpass most demon lords. This power jump was massive, and it fundamentally shifted the balance of power. But here's the real core of the debate. Did the naming create Diablo's power from scratch? Or was it just an amplifier for a power that was already terrifying? Based on everything we've covered so far, the answer is that the naming amplified power that already existed. It wasn't the origin of his dominance. Even before the naming, Diablo already had everything needed to be a genuine threat. His origin as a primordial demon, thousands of years of experience, exceptional intelligence, and mastery of magic and combat. All of these elements already existed, and they were enough to make him feared and respected by other demons long before he ever got a name. What the naming did was simply unleash the full extent of that latent power and push it to an entirely new level. But it didn't create Diablo's powerful character out of nothing. This distinction matters a lot for understanding his character correctly. Diablo isn't a character who suddenly became powerful because of one single event. He's a character whose strength was built over thousands of years, and the naming was simply the final chapter that fully revealed his true potential. So let's bring all these points together and land on the final takeaway. Yes, Diablo had a real chance at defeating some demon lords even before he received his name. This isn't an exaggerated opinion. It's a logical conclusion based on everything he brings to the table. His rare and dangerous origin as a primordial demon, thousands of years of combat experience, his exceptional intelligence, and his mastery of magic and fighting techniques. But on the other hand, we can't say he was capable of defeating every single demon lord without exception. Characters like Guy Crimson and Milim Nava are a clear exception, since they exist on a completely different tier of power that's nearly impossible to overcome at that early stage. Against the weaker demon lords, though, Diablo's chances become very realistic, especially if he uses his intelligence to find weaknesses or drags the battle into a long, drawn-out war of attrition against his opponent. And finally, we have to remember that the naming Rimuru gave Diablo wasn't the beginning of his power. It was a massive amplification of a power that was already terrifying, even among demons themselves. That's the essence of Diablo's character. Not just a demon who gained his power in a single moment, but a being whose legend was built over thousands of years of experience and intelligence, before one final touch pushed him into legendary status. So what do you think? Do you believe Diablo deserved to face stronger demon lords, even before the naming? And are there other characters in this world who deserve this same kind of deep dive analysis? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and share it. Subscribe to the channel for more content on the world of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime and its most debated characters. See you in the next video.